Hello, welcome. Right, welcome to those who are going to study functional skills level 2, as it says on the screen, with the City and Guilds exam board. And this is a course of work for those who cannot attend classes, haven't got time, or just want to do it in their own time. Now, this level 2 is broadly split up into 3 sections, and I'll just handwrite from now on. And the first section is going to be on number. Excuse my scribbly writing. Section 2 is going to be on measure, shape, and space. And section 3 is going to be on handling data. Now, do not worry if you don't know what all these things are, if it's been a long time since you've studied any maths. We'll go through it part by part. We'll look at some examples, and each lesson will have a a big pack to go with it, with some homework and practice and self-study and such like. Now, each of these 3 parts is going to be broken down into smaller parts into the individual lessons. Not sure how many lessons there's going to be, but we'll just go along with it. I'll make the lessons a reasonable length, so that you don't get overwhelmed with too much to do all in one go. So the first one we're going to do is all about numbers. Numbers, 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 all about numbers. All sorts of different numbers we can have. Um, let's have a look at a number. 3, 2, 4. Okay, 324. And so this is, you may remember all this lot. This is going to be the units. This is going to be the tens. And this will be the hundreds. Yeah, nice and straightforward. 300, 2 tens, 20, 4 units, which is 4, 324. And of course they get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, and smaller. And when we do write bigger numbers, we normally write them in groups of 3. So if we have 1,324,293, and sometimes you will see that they will put a comma in between the groups of 3, so that you don't go cross-eyed looking at all the numbers. Be wary of this if you're from a European education system. Commas and decimal points seem to get mixed up and interchanged. So in English we put commas in, or you just leave a gap, or don't bother. It's okay. It's up to you. So you might get a question that will say, okay, here's a number 4029, and what is the value of the number 2? Well, the 2 is in the tens column, so therefore you have 2 lots of tens, and the answer, the value of the 2 in this particular number, is 20. Yeah, or 20, doesn't matter which. And of course, because we only have numbers 1 to 9 and including the 0, or in addition with the 0, the 2 can be a different value depending on where it is in the number. So if we have 4209, then it's still a 2, but the value of this now becomes 200. Right, now, of course, that's just, these are all what we call positive numbers. Yeah, and they're also whole numbers. Yeah, there's no bits and pieces. There's no, we'll get onto this later, but there's no decimal numbers. There's no fractions. They're just whole numbers. And the word whole number, you might see this in textbooks and questions. Integer. Integer means a whole number. Whether it be negative or positive, any whole number is called an integer. Now, there are also negative numbers that we can deal with. Negative. And to show everybody that there is a negative, we just put a minus sign before it. So this is negative 24 or minus 24. And the minus sign, although it seems very simple, it's just minus, negative, take away, subtract, all these different words we can have to mean the same sign or symbol. It does cause us some bother when we're trying to multiply, add and divide. So you will get to a point where you think, maths would be great if there were no negative numbers. But unfortunately, we've got negative numbers. And a negative number in reality is something that is less than 0. Now, the way that I always try to remember how to deal with negative numbers is I think of temperature. So when it's cold, it's below freezing, it's a negative number. So I sort of draw a thermometer here and put 0 there in the middle. And this is hot and this is cold. And we could have 12 up there. So when we have a positive number, we don't usually put the positive in front of it. It's not needed. If we see the number 12, it's positive 12. And if we go down here, we can have negative 12. Yeah. So let's move halfway up here. This is positive 6. Down there, negative 6. And there's something that you can see here, that the further away you get from the 0 in either direction, the numbers get the numbers get bigger. It's a bigger number, but they're smaller. It's mad. I know. It's already 10 minutes into the lesson, and I've just told you that a bigger number is a smaller number. But it's counterintuitive, but it is. So, minus 12, the 12 is a bigger number than 6, but minus 12 will be a smaller temperature. It will be a lower temperature. Think of it like that. So if you had minus 40, you were wandering around in the Antarctic, you think that's pretty cold. Yeah, that's the smallest temperature I've ever seen. Is the most below 0 I've ever seen. So think about that. You can have the difference between these numbers. Yeah, the difference between the numbers from plus 12. I'll put plus 12 to minus 12. Excuse me. Now the difference between plus 12 and minus 12 is all the way from there right down to there, which is going to be 12 gets you down to 0 and another 12 gets you down to minus 12. So the difference between these two numbers is 24. You may well get, and it will get much more complicated than this in level 2, you may have to put things, by things I just mean numbers, in order. And we've either got ascending or descending, from smallest to largest and largest to smallest. Now, so I'll have to keep going. So you might get like some random numbers, 3, 8, 6, 12, 14, and you'd have to put them in ascending order. So you start with the smallest, and then you just work your way up until you get to the biggest. And that's it, from smallest to largest. Largest, smallest, biggest, greatest, ascending, going up, yeah, all this. And if we were to put these same numbers in descending order, we just go around the other way. Yeah, nice and simple. Now, we could have, what could we have? We could have minus numbers involved. So let's have a minus 3, a 4, a 0, a 2, a 9, and a -6. Now we're going to put these in ascending order, so we need the smallest number. And this is where I mentioned earlier on that the bigger the actual number, the smaller it is when it's a negative. So the smallest number in here is -6, then -3. We're working our way up to 0, go through 0, and then we start to get bigger on the other side. So they're in ascending order. Now, one thing that's very common in these functional skills questions, and it will be in a non-calculator paper probably. There are two papers that we need to do at the end of this to get the exam. It's a calculator, non-calculator, and we add them both together. Add all the scores together, that's it. So when you get a non-calculator, you may get something as simple as this, that 5 plus 15 equals 20. And they might say, check your answer. Now I always think of this is if you're in the shop and you know the price and you give someone some money, they give you some change and you want to make sure your change is right. What you do is you'll add your change with the thing that you've just bought, and does it come up to the number, the note that you handed over. So when you're checking your answer, you're sort of going backwards. Yeah. So we could say 20 minus 15 equals 5. Or we could go 20 minus 5 equals 15. There's not much maths involved in this because these may be the result of your own calculations, and if you check your answer to your own calculations and it comes out okay, then you're okay. You're going to get some marks for checking your answer. Even if your original answer is wrong, you'll still get something for the check. So there's a check your answer. So let's have a look at some questions on numbers just to round this one up. See some examples, and then there will be shows temperatures recorded in 6 cities. So which city has the highest temperature? So we're looking for the biggest positive number, which is going to be this one, 26, which is Rio. Which has the lowest? So we're looking for the biggest negative number, which is over there in Vancouver. What's the difference between the temperature in Moscow and London? Well, let's have a look. Moscow is -8 and London is 6. So we need the difference between -8 and 6. So over in the corner of the page, do your little line, put your 0 there. -8 is down there, which is in Moscow. 6 is in London, so we need the difference between all those. So we need 6 to get down to 0 and 8 to get down to -8. So 6 plus 8 is 14 degrees C. Put this list of numbers in order from the largest to smallest. So now we go in the largest. So we've got some, oh look out, some minus numbers here, yeah? So let's get rid of all the minus numbers first, and we'll worry about the positive one. So which is the biggest positive number? So we've got 3 of them. So we've got 957,846. Here's another one, 957,824. So that's the biggest. 957,846. 957,824 and 20,466. So that's all the positive numbers. Now we're going to do the negative numbers. So we start with the smallest physical number, which is this, -20,000, -20,465. We'll cross that out so we know we've done that. So I've got this, 574,571. So -571,468 minus 574. These two are close together in the middle. 643, and the big one is minus 978246. Right. Okay, the number of points scored by contestants on the quiz shown below. In the quiz, you lose points for a wrong answer. Who got the lowest score? The lowest score was the biggest negative number, which is Joey. Joey, and I'll just show the examiner how I came to that conclusion. Joey minus 54, and the highest score was the Omar with 154. Okay, so that's the end of that little numbers lesson, which is 20 minutes or so, and so you'll find some additional material to do as self-study for this lesson. So I'll see you in the next one.